GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
All right, good afternoon, and welcome to our Instagram show, where we take the Instagrams and we take the YouTubes and we smush them together on Wednesdays into one place. This is our co-host, the little puppy. A lot of people hate to see dogs on live chats, so I apologize that those people exist. But they have a right to exist, and we have a right to put puppies on the internet. So this is our co-host, the puppy, and we're going to be taking a look at the Instagrams. So we're going to shove these over here on this screen over here. Over here. Let me just get over to the Instagrams. Boom. There they come. And then, just like when Mr. Rogers would look at something, Puppy will watch the Instagrams over here as we, okay, maybe he won't. He refuses to look at Instagrams. He says if they don't put dogs on Instagram, why should he look at Instagram? But guess what, Puppy? They do put dogs on Instagram. What? They put dogs on Instagram. So let's see if we can figure out which monitor to share. I think I found it. There we go. And now we'll take the puppy, cram him into the puppy hole down here, so you can monitor that there is still a live dog making those noises. In case anybody thought there wasn't a live dog here, I was using robots to make those noises. These are actual dog noises coming out of a dog. All right, I'm putting you down. Now you're getting put down. You're making too many noises. Thanks for being here. Now you're getting put down. Go on. All right, well, so just to spite the anti-dog people, we brought the dog on. But we'll bring this thing back to full screen, and let's do what we're here to do, which is take a look at the Instagrams. Oh, you know what? Let me just yank the Instagram off of this screen real quick. Just notice I got a message over there. I'm going to see what that message is all about. Is that anything important? No. All right, so coming back over. So now we go over to Instagram, we take a look, and it's essentially a feed of pictures. For people here on YouTube, you don't use the Instagram. It's just a feed of pictures. And some of them are videos, and some of them are pictures, and some of them are trying to tell you something, and some of them are just trying to look cool or whatever. So that's a neat one. So then what we're doing, though, is heading over to our channel, and then there's a portion of our channel called Saved, and that's what we're looking at, is the files or the pictures from other people that we've looked at this week, over the last week. I'm assuming my audio is okay. If anybody... Kingpin was in here earlier. I don't know if anybody's out there watching this live. Feel free to say hey if you is, and if you would, give me some kind of sound check. But we're going to scroll back here through the posts about a week or so, and then we will comment and share different things that happened. There's one up in this is a PayPoc. So this is from the 16th, which was, whoa, did we not do this last week? That was more than a week ago. So when was this one? This one was 7 days ago. All right, well, let's go to this one then. August 21st. A little bit more than a week ago. Okay, close enough. We'll start with this one because it's the Bannerman Castle, and it's pretty good. Fasta's out there. Good afternoon. Thanks for letting us know the sound is doing good. Appreciate it. So, what was this? The Bannerman Castle had some kind of art thing going on. Is that what this says? Pleased to announce an exhibition of new works featuring fine drawings, pastels, lithographs, and works by somebody. Exhibition will be illustrations by specifically created for the book Bannerman Island: Recollections from a Time By. So people in New York like this island because they think it looks cool or whatever, but I wonder how many of them appreciate the history of the actual island. All right, so this is the post from Gun Owners Action League out of Massachusetts from last week, talking about Sunday's rally or get together 4-hour rally, I guess, at Quincy, Massachusetts. And it turns out, spoiler alert, Riding Shotgun with Charlie won that Tavor. Was it rigged? We don't know. So Alan Anchor does stickers, and here they are with their fancy sticker robot. Look how fast they print stickers. So here's the deal. If you order stickers from them, expect those stickers almost immediately, right? Like, it feels like if I ordered stickers from them, like moments later, those stickers would exist. And here's the other thing. Let's say you make an order of them, and it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 60. Let's say there's 10 of them in that row. They could be 60 orders deep. And from what I understand, according to their advertising, if you don't want that order anymore, they can just use this same robot to erase the order. So it's no big deal if you cancel the order at the last minute. If they give you any trouble with the idea of canceling an order at the last minute, you didn't hear that from me. I'll just edit this part out of this video. But you can get stickers from them, and they'd be made in Arizona. DC Project. This was a post from the DC Project from last week, where the 30 delegates gathered at the Tennessee state capitol to fight against gun control being pushed in a special session, right? And it says, Women for Gun Rights were proud to stand alongside the pro-Second Amendment Tennessee legislatures. And it says, it's imperative that we fight this dangerous legislative agenda and shift public opinion to understand that average Americans do not support these egregious gun control measures. Well done, just like KidSafe says here. Well done. Right? And somebody's live stream talked about him, it looks like. A bunch of people are saying, hey. And then you've got a series of pictures here. A bunch of the ladies wearing the teal shirts at the Tennessee thing. You have this picture of the room. I don't know if this was the press room, like where the press, what was that called? Where this event took place, or where the whole, this must have just been their press release room. Unless, because it looks like it's all just DC Project ladies, so maybe there was other stuff going on. But it sounds like from one of the other posts that I don't know if it's in this week's or last week's, then they talked to some of the ladies from the Moms Demand side. So there was some across the aisle conversation happening. I thought this one was pretty good from the Armed Gardener. Are there any other countries that tax their citizens and then send some of it to the Americans? When you say Americans, yes, because of South and Central American. So if we want to call ourselves Americas, then we should take over the whole continent, or the whole hemisphere, excuse me. But we're the United States of America. Like, we're over here in America, just like North, South, and Central America are. But we're not Canadian, and we ain't Mexico, and we ain't any of the other countries. We're the United States. So I'm going to call us Yankees, I guess. It's weird, but anyway. But I get the gist of this one. Plus, anyone that uses fry like that is a good one. At what point will people not know what that is? Like, there's probably people that don't watch Futurama, right? Or that didn't watch it. It's kind of on now, but are there going to be people that know what that is going forward? So this is gun policy. Help destroy California handgun roster by becoming a member of the FPC Grassroots Army. And then it says, did you know Californians cannot legally purchase a Glock 19 Gen 5 from an FFL? The California handgun roster has a handgun ban. Their lawsuit, Rena versus Bonta, Banta will end the roster. So, okay. So I guess they have a lawsuit called Banta and Rena. You get bonus points if you can keep track of how many lawsuits are out there, what they're all called. This one is from Phil.
That can take you through the
Guy
steps.
who started the NAGA, National African American Gun Owners Association. Here's that post. I'll let it go in its entirety here.
When you buy a gun, that is not the end. But folks, that's just the very beginning of you learning how to shoot that gun. Please get training. Get a training from a certified instructor that can take you through the steps to become a proficient gun owner. You can't buy a gun and instantly think you know how to shoot in your Dirty Harry or your SEAL 6 part of the team or something like that. You need to understand that training and learning how to shoot a firearm is a process. It's an ongoing skill set that you constantly have to work on, because muscle memory, if not practice, you'll lose it. So please get training. Please get yourself a certified instructor to help you become a better gun owner. As always, God bless, be safe, and respect.
So, digging these messages, bored as hell of the messages. So I don't know how long you've been a gun owner. I've been a gun owner longer than you probably, because I'm older than you more than likely, and I've been a gun owner since I was born. So being told about safety, holy crap, I've got 5 decades plus of hearing people tell me about gun safety. So unless you're reckless or an idiot, you don't really need to be taught about it. I think 90%, 80% of gun safety lectures are for the idiots who don't own guns. I shouldn't say it that way. People who don't own guns, who are not aware of anything about guns, and assume, because they like to put judgments on other people, assume that anyone who owns a gun or would want to pick up a gun even is willing to be reckless the same way that they might be when they down an entire fifth of tequila. They feel like being reckless, and they assume that this social whatever is okay with them just saying they blacked out drunk and they woke up and everything's good to go the next day. They think that's how gun owners are, obviously. But I think half of the safety stuff is for them, but half of it is for new gun owners too. So the new gun owners, there's a bunch of them. How fast are we going to get past all this stuff? Are we going to be doomed to hear baby stuff forever, or are we going to be able to not lecture ourselves? Remember the NRA, everybody hates them. Remember, you get points for hating the NRA nowadays. You don't even have to get paid by Bloomberg. You can just hate the NRA for free, and everybody loves it. But here's the deal: when you're hating the NRA, you're hating the NRA because they're FUDs. Remember, you're supposed to hate FUDs too. Well, guess what FUDs do? Tell people to be safe all the time. Pretty soon you're going to be telling people there's a difference between a magazine and a clip. Oh, shit. Right? Nobody likes to hear that shit. It's all cycles, man. It's all cycles. So hopefully we'll get over this pretty soon. But it is interesting to see this stuff. Let me break down this a little bit. I think I got time before
when you
Cape
buy
Cod
a
Work
gun,
starts up.
that is not the end. But folks, that's just the very beginning of you learning how to shoot that gun.
Where's the slippery slope of mandatory training there? So you can say that, but say it in a way that it gets people to understand you can do more if you want. You can own a car and drive it around. You can go get more training if you want, but nobody's pestering you to get more car training. Nobody's implying that you need car training. Besides your initial pass your driver's license test, nobody bullies you or suggests that you get more training on your driving. And we all know that driving is a much more reckless, dangerous activity that's done by many more people than guns. But let's keep going.
Please get training. Get a training from a certified instructor that can take you through the steps.
Who certifies? You don't like the NRA anymore. I mean, Phil probably could care less one way or the other about what I'm saying, but most people, again, don't get paid by Bloomberg to hate the NRA, but just hate the NRA in general. So they don't like NRA training. You can't value that. So USCCA is your only option. Oh, I hate the one company, so I like the other company. Okay, so maybe you're open enough to know that there's more than one way to learn. So do you get authentic training that's been tested through time? Okay, so do you get tested on the streets like cop training, or do you get tested on the battlefield? What's more applicable to CCW, right? So those are all questions that none of this even touches. Doesn't even touch it. Just says get training. So what training? At what level of training? These are uncomfortable questions. People that hate training love to bring this stuff up, but people that love training hate to hear it.
To become a proficient gun owner.
Proficient? What the hell are we saying that ever? Do you have to be a proficient car owner?
You can't buy a gun and instantly think you know how to shoot in your Dirty Harry or your Seal 6 part.
So you can pick up a gun and after knowing nothing about it, be about 70% adequate with it. You can be about 80% accurate with it. And that's all you need. When you train with a gun, you can go from 70 to 80. And then when you become perfectly at one with the thing, you can get up to higher than that. But it's a interesting perspective to suggest that there's even division of skill set spectrum between 0 and hero. It's pretty much 0 to 70. Anybody who picks it up and isn't an idiot or reckless can figure it out, right? We all know that. Little kids can figure out cap guns and Nerf guns in about 2 minutes. Anybody can figure out a gun. And how to be safe with it is, again, just having good head on your shoulders. Being good at it takes a little bit more, but to own it, to be adequate with it,
the team or something like that, you need to understand that training and learning how to shoot a firearm is a process. It's an ongoing skill.
This is something new. Used to just be sit down, learn your lessons, you're done. You're qualified, move on. Just the same way with a driver's license. When did it become different than a driver's license? When instructors insisted that you come back and learn more training, when there was more than one instructor and they wanted you to go to a bunch of them, when you needed to buy more stuff. So there was a reason to go buy more stuff so that you go to training with it. I mean, people that hate training love to hear this. People that hate training hate to hear it.
Skill set that you constantly have to work on, because muscle memory, if not practice, you'll lose it. So please get training. Please get yourself a certified instructor to help you become a better.
Where's the payoff? How much of your life you're going to spend preparing for something that happens less often than lightning strikes? So I'm just being pragmatic there. I like Phil a lot, and I don't think that's a bad message. I'm just saying, if we were to dissect anyone's message in 2023, it would be different than the messages that were put out in 2015 and 2005, 2005, and in 1995. So, these things are a changing. You're in a portion of the change right now. So, it's interesting to think about all the new people that are coming in at a time when nothing is traditional or has time on the clock. Everything is fresh and new. Anyway, so here's the National Cowboy Museum, and this is Bobby, is a steer who performed in rodeo, vaudeville, and in the movies. This guy is a bobcat twister. I guess that's his name, Bobcat Twister. And it'll tell you somewhere here that he was a buck and bull, being one of the first rodeo steers to be tamed. Oh, I thought it tells you what he was made out of. Somewhere it says what kind of cows he is. But look at this cow jumping over a car. He's a longhorn and a Brahma. So he's a Brahma and a longhorn. 15 hands tall, so that's pretty dang big. That's as big as a horse. Horses are like 14 to 16 hands, right? And then 1,300 pounds. It's pretty big. 8.5 foot horn span. I've seen longhorns that are way longer. This guy's got more of the Brahma thing going on, but very interesting looking thing. He looks like a horse, doesn't he? Anyway, this is says he lived a long life, brought many people joy, and he's got a plaque someplace, it says in here. That's Locked and Loaded and Boomstick Babe. I guess they were hanging out together. Then you've got, I don't know why I liked my own thing. That's weird. Usually I don't like my own shit. That was by accident. Or I was putting it into a different pile. Then we got Stephen Holbrook talking about Arma's Parquet guns for what? Oh, wait. Is it Arma's Parquet? And then that means guns for what? Or guns what for? To fight the government? The Cuban people don't need guns nowadays. Fidel Castro, 1959. So I like that one. I'm going to put it in the calendar as a quote for January. But people don't remember Cuba anymore. That was our grandparents, for crying out loud. Like maybe our older parents, I think. People with older parents, but our grandparents' generation dealt with Bay of Pigs and stuff in Cuba. So nowadays, I think people barely know about Cuba.
I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe we need to renew the assault weapons ban. We need red flag laws. We need universal background checks. We need elected leaders to have the courage to act. We oppose ERP.
All right, so this is Diana posting this, and that was what's her face saying it, the vice president saying it in front of a bunch of her supporters at a rally. So you expect just you expect just what's the word? Just elevator speeches and cheering. You don't expect actual policy or anything. But look what they just juxtaposed it with here.
And red flag laws because they are dangerous and unnecessary. Dangerous because they can be maliciously used, and unnecessary because every state already has a law that allows law enforcement to hold a person that is a danger.
It's just different pace, different cadence, different vibe, right? Like, come up with a better parry. This is this felt like singing and dancing and then sitting down with a spreadsheet. I mean, obviously we're on
So when
Diana's
anti-gun
side,
politicians
and so we're on Diana's side, but that would have been an opportunity to do a better parry to Kamala's hype over there during whatever rally that was. So this next one, this is Kilo Niner. Is a cool company that hooked up Baby Puppy over here with his tack vest, and this is some patches they do with Tactical Outfitters out of California. Those are both outfits out of California.
So
this will be Gun Owners of America's Tiffany. I think she's just introducing herself in this one.
when anti-gun politicians and activists refer to weapons of war, what they're really saying is the AR-15 and similar rifles look like they're used by military. Should we ban rifles because they look like they're used by the military? By that logic, we'd be banning most firearms in existence. At one point, a version of most commonly owned rifles saw some sort of military service, from bolt-action rifles to revolvers. No one wants to ban the semi-auto M1 Garand or the Winchester trench gun, even though both firearms were used in World War II. But saying that a rifle looks like it's used by the military isn't as effective, scary, or hyperbolic as saying weapons of war. Let's not forget, the musket was once a weapon of war, as was the pointy stick or sharp rock. Under the most recent assault weapon ban passed by House Democrats, they failed to cover the M1 Garand. Anyway,
I'm not going to play the whole thing. This seems like preaching to the choir to me. I think they could have led with some of the more poignant parts, like the weapon of war includes rocks and stuff. But whatever. That's Gun Owners America's new thing. So they did it on YouTube and then essentially repurposed it over here with the vertical format. Same content. So I think they're probably just putting it into an app and repurposing it over here. How many platforms are they on? The national level outfits or national level organizations. How many platforms are they reposting on? So this one is from Gun Policy, which we all know is Firearms Policy Coalition. And this says Fayette, St. Clair, and Kendall County in Illinois suing the government to restore young adult carry rights. 2ahotline.com. So if you or someone you know meets the following criteria, please reach out to the 2ahotline.com. If you're 17 and 19 years old, you reside in Fayette, St. Clair, or Kendall counties in Illinois, you desire to purchase carry a firearm, and are willing to actively participate in a lawsuit. So it looks like they're looking for litigants. I don't know what the word is for firearms policy. Now we have American Suppressor Association posting. It says on their comment, noise-induced hearing loss and tinnitus are two of the most common afflictions for recreational shooters and hunters. And then you've got this little infographic. Buy these so you don't need these. Pretty good. I think American Suppressor Association, top of the line. Everybody else has to meet their standard. They're the gold standard for whatever you call getting the message across. I would like it to be the DC project. They've attempted. They've come freaking really close before. Gun owners are right. What's the other guns? Girls with a gun? No. What's wrong? Why am I blanking on it? But they've done good too.
I'm sure most of you are familiar with the.
Why am I blanking on their thing? But anyway, there's a couple organizations doing good with the graphics, with the marketing, and American Espresso Association, I think, is doing a little better. Feel free to comment on what you think about that, which ones you think are doing good. I guess I should mention we have a poll going right now. So we have worked it out with YouTube that if you're interested, you are able, today only, I can't say this for the future, they may change things up, but you are able to use the poll feature of the YouTube window to participate. Finally, it'll open here maybe. You can see how slow my internet is. I've been thinking about getting a new internet modem. A modem. So we have a poll going over here. Feature of the... All right. See, that's why I don't bother to check my own audio, because it takes that long to have it all come up. So would you rather... Which would you rather have for a long bus ride? So you're a passenger on a long bus ride. Which would you rather have? The YouTube, the videos, the YouTube shorts, the short videos only, the up and down ones like we're seeing right now, the IG posts, the pictures that we're looking at, or the IG reels? That's the videos that we're looking at on the IG. I thought maybe the videos on IG would give YouTube a run-in, or maybe the shorts would get a vote or two, but it looks like 100% of all the votes are going to YouTube videos. So all this other stuff can suck it looks like. So this is, Gun Owners of America has tried to name off all the people in Gun Owners of America. We know we had the dude, and then something happened we're not supposed to talk about, so then his son took over. And then after an amount of time, they said, okay, well, now we need state directors. So we had the girl from Texas. We're not supposed to talk about that, I don't think. And then something happened in Virginia. I'm not supposed to talk about that, I don't think. And then, oh man, did Ohio or Michigan or something, or I don't know. So we've got these state directors, and I don't think that went very far. Maybe I did, and I'm missing something. And then we've had Minuteman Moment, that one guy from last year, and then or 2 years ago, and now we got this guy, and now we got Mindy or somebody. So Gun Owners of America running through people. Is that keeping it going? Is that the way to do it? It's definitely not having Wayne standing up every 45 days to say something. So this is, I don't even know what this guy's name is, from Gun Owners of America, even though it says Brownells right here. It's probably from Gun Owners of America, and this is what it says.
Sure, most of you are familiar with the Matt Hoover, aka CRS firearm case, right? It's ludicrous that this case has even gone this far. But what gets even more ridiculous is that Biden's DOJ doesn't want anyone to report on this. Check your calendars, guys, because this is a 1984 level of suppression here, if you ask me. John Crump of AmmoLand News uncovered that the DOJ's attorney had written out a motion to prevent him from reporting on this case. This is crazy, that the Department of Justice wants to put a gag order on Crump.
Yeah, it's bad news. So that's the way we're getting it reported to us. There we go. National level organization. We only have however many, right? We have NRA. Everybody hates them. It's cool to hate them. They're not supposed to listen to them. Blah, blah, blah. Second Amendment Foundation. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they're posting a lot of stuff. Here's Gun Owners of America, and this is how we're getting the information. And then we get it from Firearms Policy. And that is usually looking down somebody's nose or into their eyeball and seeing all their pores and usually saying, fuck you or something. So are we winning? Like, is that the way the national level conversation is going to win? Like, is that how we do it? Being weird or talking to ourselves? I think we're talking to ourselves a lot here, right? Am I missing something? Then it says over here, Justice Department attempted to silence a pro-gun journalist, Crump. We all know Crump, for simply reporting a case. And it's an important thing to say, but is this the way to get it across? I don't know. Next up is, oh shit, all right. Trying to copyright me. Let me try to turn on the volume. Here we go. So Shoot Arena. I don't know. It says, is that her name? Dania Vizia? I don't know. Adds to U.S. skeet success with another world medal. We're proud of fellow NRA member. I don't know if that's her name. I don't know how to say it. Who continues to win medals in women's skeet in the world championships, known as Shoot Arena. Busy sets her sights on the upcoming Olympic trials for the Paris Games. So Paris is coming up, Olympics next, just about a year, right? It was just like not too long ago. They were saying it was a year till the Olympics. So here's NBC Sports talking about her, giving her a nickname, and then here's NRA talking about it. And then here's USA Shooting, who is not funded by the government, by the way, funded by individuals who support them, saying thanks, NRA, with those little hand thingies. So you're not supposed to like the NRA. If you want to get paid by Bloomberg to hate the NRA, all you got to do is wear a red shirt. Then here's another one from Phil.
Understand gun laws, and this is the reason why. The worst thing you can do is to have a gun in your car or on your person or in your house, and you don't know the gun laws that apply to owning that firearm. Ignorant.
So cool, because we didn't have these issues back in the day. So, these messages would have been more of paranoid. They're coming to get you, because it was Waco and it was Ruby Ridge. It's not paranoid. It was just a different world. And the messages were, what are you going to do? Give your guns to the people that just did Ruby Ridge and the rest. But, now there's, again, training is normalized, while guns and gun owners are attempted to be marginalized. There's more and more gun owners, especially new gun owners, and all those new gun owners didn't come in from collecting. They didn't come in because their parents or grandparents gifted them the firearm. They didn't come in through the sports, right? They didn't come in through, investment or anything. They came in through fear, and they came in through the idea that by owning a gun, they'd whatever, XYZ is, whatever their answer is. So these messages, this messaging that's going out needs to be different than it was in the past. And I don't know, are people paying attention? Are you paying attention to the different messaging that's going out to the new gun owner? And then what do we do with that? What's next? What's the next logical step? Who's anticipating that? Are your projects anticipating that? Are you a content creator? Here's
one of the reasons
Ginny.
we love shooting is because there's a huge problem-solving element. It really helps us be creative, and it helps us to feel that satisfaction as we identify and solve problems that are complex and interesting and use our layers of knowledge. But, however, that problem solving can sometimes be a little frustrating. And when it becomes so frustrating that we become maybe a little obsessive, or we start thinking so much about our scores, it isn't fun. It's not a fun scenario, and that frustration.
So Ginny is a Olympic level shooter, training and coaching. So not only is this an example of some of her coaching and the style that she gives to the younger shooters, I'm assuming, but the perspective on shooting that often gets overlooked. Again, gun owners and guns have been marginalized by the the opposition for so long that we're associated by so many out there, people that don't care one way or the other. Guns are associated with violence. If you want to own a gun, you're walking over into that violence realm. And Ginny's offering a perspective of the challenge and of the precision and of the skill and the challenge to build skill that the firearms provide.
The Rocky Mountain Gun Owners Organization that's filed half a dozen lawsuits to strike down any measure they say violates the right to bear arms.
Goal right now to take back our state, take back the freedoms that were stolen from us at the local level and at the state level.
As someone who knows the importance of their constitutional rights, I couldn't be more excited to host Rocky Mountain Gun Owners at our September event. Established in 1996, these pro-gun advocates have aggressively fought to maintain the rights of everyday citizens. Take, for example, the recent assault weapons ban bill. In a matter of days, they had initiated over 35,000 calls, 80,000 emails, and received over 103,000 signatures on their petition. By the day of the hearing, we had over 500 patriots signed up to testify in opposition and only 75 in favor. As they say, our greatest enemy is complacency. As long as we stand united in the fight and support organizations that do so as well, these gun control lobbyists don't stand a chance.
So that's Melissa chatting about Rocky Mountain Gun Owners is going to be at the machine gun shoot coming up in September. So I don't know what you do to travel, if you travel for the sports or if you travel for maybe car racing or something like that. I don't know, is that a sport? Or for some other thing. But if you want to travel for the gun community, for the industry, checking out the 31st annual machine gun shoot and the first one that they're going to do with an industry event, September 16th, Colorado Springs. This is from SoCal Shooting Events, and they posted this art. It says, this next entry into the raffle pool is pure art. Some guy is a phenomenal artist and has graciously added a one of one custom art piece of a firearm of the winner's choosing. Oh, I see. This is an example. So this is some examples of the person drawing a some kind of Glock and a Roni rig, and then a I don't know what kind of revolver that is. Some kind of revolver, and then some kind of shotgun, but like a charcoal drawing, pencil drawing. I don't know what to call it. But I guess that's examples. Then the person, if you win that piece of the raffle, the artist will draw a a picture of whatever gun you want. So that's pretty cool. Next one up is Foss, who generously gave us the sound check earlier. Thank you for that. Showing off his berries. He's got a bunch of berries, and instead of throwing them away, he put them into these bags, sucked all the air out of them with some sort of robot, and then is probably putting them into a freezer robot. But yeah, that looks pretty good. We had them for a minute there, but I managed to eat every raspberry that came off of my bush, so I didn't have enough left over to freeze, but that makes me want to have more bushes. The blueberries, I don't know. I feel like the blueberries ain't coming out so good, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. Like they're coming out as blueberry mush, aren't they? Simon's. Everybody's copyrighting me. So Tony is talking about red flag laws and universal background checks are government schemes to work around having to prove you're committed a crime before taking your property and getting an illegal registry of Americans' firearms. We don't trust government, quote the founding fathers. So I'm not sure where this one came from, but he's got a pretty decent perspective here on the red flag laws and the universal background checks. I'm assuming something happened or those were being pushed. Antonio was reacting to that. Let's see. So this is Battle Comp, great company, and posted this one. I don't usually post stuff like this, but Battle Comp did a good one here. So this says, these fires are pretty bad, huh? I can relate. My son's lighter gets hot enough to burn your thumb. And it's got Joe licking an ice cream cone in front of a bunch of fires. So, yeah, I guess I'd get too political. That was my political rant. We lost a bunch of viewers now. A bunch of the pro-Biden people left. Sorry about that. They probably also hate the dog when he's on here. All right, so next is NRA digs up history to push back on Kamala Harris's claim on assault ban. So Kamala says, Joe Biden has taken on the NRA and won. He can do it again. Which I guess was a tweet, and they never put the date on there, so it's useless. And then up here, it's from August 25th, NRA striking back at the president, or the vice president, I guess. And then it says, link in bio, uncover the truth about Joe Biden's so-called win against the NRA. So, you're supposed to hate the NRA or whatever, so you're probably not even supposed to look at this. Sorry about it if you hate the NRA so much that you've seen a post from the NRA. But I don't know what to make of this. But Wayne ain't doing shit. Wayne ought to figure out what's up, and we can see something else happen over there. So Guns for Everyone does free CCW classes. They do those in Colorado Springs. Oh, wait, did something glitch? Or, I did this in plenty of time for the Cape Gun Works show then. For some reason, I thought I had to hurry. So I still got like an hour before Cape Gun Works starts. Guns for Everyone does CCW classes in Colorado Springs. They do those for free. And I guess recently they had a student come through and said something about like, hey, I got some chairs you can have. And then they followed up and brought him some chairs. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18. Maybe there's 20 chairs there. So that's pretty nice. And it's them saying, appreciate it. And this may be easily over $1,000 worth of chairs. So that's pretty cool. And I imagine everybody that goes to those classes will dig it because it sounds like the chairs were falling apart that they had before. Or, weren't as nice. Maybe they're falling apart. I don't know. Let's go back and look at pictures, I guess. So now you have firearms policy saying Governor of California is out here urging people to SWAT each other. So then it says, from the governor of California, in wake of Cook coroner's thing, issues statement and urges California to use life-saving red flag laws. In the wake of last night's incitive word choice in something in Trubico Canyon that left at least 3 victims dead and 6 wounded, the governor today issued a statement regarding the incident and urged all Californians to use the red flag law. Red flag laws allow victims of domestic abuse, family members, co-workers, and others to seek protective orders to prohibit potentially dangerous individuals and abusers from possessing guns. Once again, a siege of bullets has shaken the community and torn families apart. All right, so this is firearms policy, and essentially they're just telling people about this, and then they offered this infographic to challenge it, I guess. I mean, I don't know how else they can do this. I think the infographic's okay. It gets everything out there you need. It gets the idea that there's more to this, and then lets people discover it. I think the infographic's pretty decent. Do you lead with that? I don't know, because it doesn't explain itself. So you kind of need this part to get it going and use that. So it's a tough one. Maybe a split page and then the infographic and then this page for the people that really want to follow up. But it's a tough one. We've got a challenge, and I think a concept or a tact would be to challenge the idea that in their own wording, here, go essentially use this mechanism that the state can be the fulcrum of aid here, and just simply go in and report everybody who you suspect. But what's the point of saying and take away their guns? Like, if you suspect somebody, you suspect somebody. What if you suspect them of taking a razor blade to everybody? What if you suspect them of slamming everybody with a sledgehammer? It seems goofy, and it seems obvious that they have an agenda when they say, hey, if you're so worried about somebody, only worry about taking away their gun. So this is a heck of a lot of opportunity, in my opinion, to further that position, that why is the governor only so narrowly focused on the firearm, when if he's so worried about all these realms, domestic violence, family members, co-workers of people who are off their rocker, or whatever we're supposed to say, who are not on track. And, we're supposed to only be concerned about the one dangerous item. They work around poison, but don't worry, make sure they don't have guns. They drive around a giant piece of equipment, but make sure they don't have guns. They're a doctor, who knows what a doctor can do, but make sure that doctor doesn't have a gun, and then we're okay. Then let that doctor go to work as angry. So I'm not ragging on FPC, but I think we've got opportunities here. If I'm missing stuff, please let me know, so I'm not just, talking about something that should exist that already exists, essentially. So, Medal of Honor Museum, it's a good place to follow. You learn a lot of interesting things, like Fort A.P. Hill is being renamed Fort Walker to honor the only female Medal of Honor recipient, Dr. Mary Walker, from the Civil War. So, one of the largest military installations in the East is now honors Dr. Mary E. Walker, a pioneering surgeon, women's rights advocate, and women's rights advocate, and the only female Medal of Honor recipient with the title Fort Walker. So that's pretty cool. I don't like A.P. Hill, and I never did like it. It seems weird to me, so I don't mind them renaming it. Fort Hill, I would have been fine with, but I didn't like Fort A.P. Hill. It just sounded weird to me always, so I'm kind of cool with this one. Gun Prom is coming up in September, on September 16th. What's also on September 16th? That's right, Machine Gun Shoot. So you could probably go to Gun Prom and then book over. Somebody's got a fancy jet or whatever, you could get over there faster. But go to the prom, or maybe go to the Machine Gun Shoot, nap and shower in the jet as you go to San Diego. Go to the prom, nap and sleep or whatever in the jet as you go back to Colorado Springs. Get up, go eat breakfast in that yellow place, and then go to the Machine Gun Shoot again on Saturday or Sunday. I think it'll work that way for you. So you could probably go to both of these if you had the inclination. So the Gun Prom is a fancy dress get together from the San Diego County Gun Owners Association. They've been doing it now for a while. It's $100 for a ticket, but those are sold out. So now it's $150 for individual tickets, $50 drawing. So whatever. So now it's $150 to get in. I think it was early birds were $100. So it's fancy and it costs money. This is going to be at, I guess, I don't know, somewhere in San Diego, I'm assuming. So here's Tony talking about, Mike is saying Gun Prom is a banquet, meaning, what does banquet mean? Does banquet mean there's like food at a buffet and you can eat it as your leisure, or is a banquet where you have to sit there and they bring it out to you? I don't know what the definition is, but thanks. Let's see. So Tony is saying, imagine, so this lady has a post, or there's a post here about somebody suggesting that this wouldn't have happened if the gun wasn't involved. And what the situation is a serial killer brought a gun to kill his latest victim, and that lady defended herself by shooting the serial killer guy. And now they're saying that, basically this lady shot and killed somebody, and they kind of wanted to leave it at that, like, oh, another killing happened. So Tony is essentially saying that, how frustrating must it be? That's probably not a strong enough word for being that lady who was forced into that situation and was able to defend herself, literally, do or die. She would have defended herself, or if she wouldn't have defended herself, she would have become the next victim from a serial killer. But in defending herself, she also ended that serial killer's career of being a serial killer. So she's not only saved herself, but, who knows how many future victims. And when that happens, that death becomes one of the violent killings that the antis use to suggest she should not have the right to have a firearm, that she should not be able to decide if she wants to carry a firearm or not. They've decided she's not capable, nor is anyone else, unless you're trained by the government. So since she's not capable of defending herself, and she's proven that by defending herself, that defense should be used against her as another act of an irrational, violent individual, because guns. It's frustrating, and you can get, caught up in the shouting to the choir, the cheering the mob, or you can realize that these are very easy to explain situations that illustrate the, in this case, frustration or the inconsistency in the logic. And by showing that to the other side, we take away that lack of awareness. We take away that ignorance that the other side depends on. They need ignorance of the issues. All we need to do is show that this is a gray area, not a black and white, and we win. We remove the middle part. Foss has a great point. Will there be awkward slow dancing at the gun prom? So here's what'll happen. The 9mm shooters will, of course, be hanging out on the wall, moping, right, looking at the floor. And then the other calibers, the decent calibers, will be having a good old time dancing and intermingling and joking and doing all kinds of fun things. So, I'm just saying that you can kind of tell how it's going to be, just based on history, just based on science fact. That's all. Speaking of science fact, it was Dog Day the other day. So on Dog Day, you're supposed to do things like grab a little puppy, grab them, give them a tickle, give them a wiggle, give them a squeeze, give them a kiss, give them a hug, whatever you want to do, whatever needs to be done. Let's see, that was the 26th. So if you missed it, that means you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 days worth of making up to do. So that means if you missed any of those things on the 26th, you need to grab a little puppy and do all those things at least 4 times to make up for it. And then there'll be no consequences other than a puppy will be happier. But you won't have to worry about having broken any laws or anything. Speaking of that, where did the puppy go? Oh, he's way over there. All right, so Wildcats is the shooting team here at the University of Arizona. So back in the day when I was a range safety officer at the county range, I would have been wearing one of these orange shirts and standing on this side. And then they didn't have the shooting team back then, but they would have been standing over here. So this is at the county range where I used to volunteer at all the time. And they had a, what do they call it? First Shots program. So NSSF does a First Shots program. And the Wildcats, which is the University of Arizona school shooting team, hosted the event. They had 115 people sign up, and then they had this many range safety officers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them show up. I still have my orange shirt, and but it was years ago. But anyway, they did this event, and then here's some pictures of it. And looks like they even had some support from CZ, right? Because kids, man buns or whatever, they wanted to get in on that vibe. And then Ruger was there because they're here in Arizona. True Blue Bun Lube, okay, made in USA it says. And then Let's Go Shooting is, what do you call it? NSSF. Well, you can see right here it says, proud grant recipients thanks to NRA and the NRA Foundation. Looks like the NRA built this entire county range. We're supposed to hate the NRA. If you're going to hate the NRA, you might as well work for Bloomberg doing it. And then here's another picture of the event and some of the 115 people that showed up for First Shots. So not just the ladies and not just Tony Simon. There's some other people out there introducing people to firearms for the first time. Everybody's doing it with their own way and their own flavor. So if they're doing it in your neck of the woods, consider helping, supporting, getting on board. Just posting about the events and sharing stuff, can help a lot with the way the logarithm works on these platforms. Speaking of logarithms, the NSSF here is saying New Jersey follows California's lead on microstamping, despite evidence of its unreliability. Discover why independent studies question this effectiveness and implications of manufacturers and public safety. So, I don't know. That's the kind of stuff NSSF should be doing. So, bravo. And shame on New Jersey for being a bunch of doofuses about that. Let's see. So now we have Gray Man Brief, one of the prepper type of things that I'll pay attention to on the regular. And this one is talking about issues where there's 200 ships hanging out at the Panama Canal because of the drought. They're not able to go through the levees. So never thought about that before, but I guess if there's issues with water level, then they don't have enough water in the lakes down there to push boats back and forth, I guess, up and down it. So it says 200 ships queued, waiting 19 days to pass the Panama Canal. And, so that's something to be aware of and something to be concerned about. And I'm sure it'll affect something. There's going to be some downstream effects from these things, some ripples. However, how long ago was it when we were watching similar concern similar concern about the backups because of the congestion at the Los Angeles? Was it also the Washington harbors? I know that Los Angeles harbor, which was a huge one, got backed up, and there was, suggestion that it was just easier for ships to travel all the way around to the East Coast from around all of South America, and that would be faster. And then even distributing from the other side of the continent, that would be faster than waiting. And when you have such backups back then, what were the ripples? What were the downstreams, right? So, these things are issues, but we have a giant world. We have a lot of people trying to get out from these things. So, as much concern as we have, I don't see too many people getting all that upset about these things. And maybe that's why. Maybe people are paying more attention to these things and understanding that even though they're huge, they're not all stop the planet from spinning huge. There's Chris out there. Good afternoon. Toby's talking about the rally. This, I think, when he's on his way to the rally.
Maybe I shouldn't do it live. Maybe I should just do a regular recording and post it. But trying for the third time now that I have better cell phone reception.
So I guess this was on his way to the thing, I think. So still curious. He did say that somebody had recorded it, but I'm not sure where that's being published. All right, so next up is what it looks like probably from Rebecca. Show Rebecca Schmoy from Kansas. Posted this one: governments do not grant rights, nor do they protect them. An interesting one. And then her follow-up is: equality is not about equal outcome or even equal opportunity. It's about the equal rights you possess through exercising individual liberty that you already have. Anyone who tells you that you are not equal to another for any reason is your oppressor. They are trying to hold you down and keep you in the box they have designed for you. Governments, organizations, and elitists will try to take credit for granting you your own rights. They will steal your ability to exercise them freely and then sell them back to you in small increments at high dollar. But that's only if you allow it. These rights are not theirs to give or restrict. They are yours. They are your birthright. You have them simply because you exist. You must never forget that. Guard your inherent rights and individual liberty jealously. Never forget that you have as much individual liberty as you have personal responsibility to utilize. So, good message, and just a good message. So then we got Stephen Holbrook. Try as it might, the government comes up short in its attempt to find appropriate historical analogs. Right? Looking for historical tradition in all the wrong places. Second Amendment roundup. So then it says the government points to the laws in several colonies and states that disarmed classes of people considered to be dangerous, specifically including slaves, noted the Fifth Circuit Court in some case. Applying the Supreme Court's test in New York State Rifle Pistol Associations versus Bruin. Notice how he took the time to spell out the winners versus Bruin. The court found the federal ban on gun possession by a person with domestic violence, or DRBO, to lack founding era precedent and hence violates the Second Amendment. So essentially saying that the government doesn't have any historical precedent to suggest that the red flag thing was for real. And it's okay, so essentially that's what I'm going to keep going. That's that one. Here we are. Which one is this? Oh, this one's crazy. So these dudes are breaking into the garage of this apartment complex, I guess, and they're stealing these bicycles. Has anybody seen this? So while this is happening, this dude and this other dude are coming down the elevator, and the one dude is watching the security camera, and the other dude's getting his sword ready. And then he comes hauling after these dudes with the bicycles with his sword. And he jumps out of the garage, and then he jumps down the runway or the driveway with them. And the one dude starts dropping the bike right away, and then he runs down a little bit more, and the other dude drops the bike. And now he gets both the bikes back, and then he goes back and he puts his sword away. So I don't really watch these things very often, but that one had a sword in it, so it was pretty good. So if somebody was doing a show where they wanted to comment on things like this, I don't do that. But if somebody wanted to comment on shit, this dude wailed after these dudes with a sword and won. Next up is from Firearms Policy again. Everyone should read this propaganda piece by some random... Okay, so what happens is, what's his face from Florida, the little kid, says, everyone should read this op-ed by an NRA member, former gun salesman, AR-15 owner, DC police officer, blah, 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 on why we need to ban the sale of weapons like the AR-15. And then FPC is saying everyone should read this propaganda piece by some random state agent on why we should cede more power to the state. I like it. And then they, of course, say, fuck you, no. So, they're going to miss their message. I'm going to put a poll up one day on what people think about FPC saying fuck you all the time. Essentially, they're so rowdy and in your face that they're going to just not get the message across to people they could be, I think. Well, I'm pretty much positive of that. So this guy is a dude who was a big fan of cutting the nuts off of dogs, and also he ran a TV show that everybody liked, a game show, so to speak, and I guess he died. I don't know if he just died or what, but allegedly, I'm not going to talk too much shit because even though he was a dude on the TV, he also was a naval aviator. So there you go. I didn't know that. Find my button again. Click. Did you know that dude was a naval aviator? The guy from Price is Right? Let's take a look at Dragon Man's 31st annual machine gun shoot and Industry Range Day. So here's the deal. An Industry Range Day is it's an occurrence, right? Those happen nowadays. I went to my first one, I guess. My first one with cameras in 2005. How about, let's put it that way? Because I probably been to something before that, but I didn't bring cameras. I wasn't covering it. In 2006, excuse me. They started it in 2004, and I didn't get invited until 2006. But in 2006, I went to my first range day, and I've been going ever since. Now, there's the one that happens at SHOT Show, and then there's another one that happens at SHOT Show, and then there's a third one. They call it the SIG shoot that happens at SHOT Show, not every year, but a lot of times. And then there's a fourth one sometimes, and then there are sometimes more events than that even. So lots of different range days at SHOT Show. Most of them or all of them, they want you to have some sort of affiliation with press, either because they're scared of pictures getting out to just wherever, I don't know. But they used to care about them getting out to airsoft, but maybe they care about pictures going somewhere that I can't think of. So sometimes they care about you being in the press. Sometimes they don't, though. But you'd have to go to SHOT Show for that, and you'd have to be in Vegas during SHOT Show and all this. So, a bunch of ifs or whatever. Now, you can go to other things like the Big Sandy shoot here in Arizona, and you just have to show up and pay for that, but you're not going to pull no triggers. All you're going to do is look at stuff, and you're only going to look at people's property. You're not looking at any kind of industry stuff. You're just looking at stuff people own, and most people own stuff that's old, so you're looking at old stuff. Then you could probably go to one of the other industry events, but those are almost always for media. Those are almost always super rich. It's a money pit. It's like they throw a bunch of money on the ground and a bunch of people shoot videos in there, and then whatever money sticks to you, you come out with. I don't know. There's rules to it, but most people can't go to those kind of machine gun shoots. And then this one, the Dragon Man's machine gun shoot, you got to pay $20, but anybody can go to it. And it says $20 machine gun. No, it's $20, and then it says machine gun or museum tours also, I think. But anyhow, for $20, you go to this machine gun shoot. You're pulling triggers, and you're getting to see brand new stuff. So it's an industry shoot instead of just some hobbyist shoot. So you can look at, I won't go through all of them here, but quite a few companies, a lot of suppressors, and quite a few gun companies as well. And then, as we already mentioned, Rocky Mountain Gun Owners, the Colorado 2A organization, will be there. Oh, RTAC is out there. Good afternoon. All right. So then, again, if you're going to be spending any money on the industry, any time, like a vacation or whatever, I tell you what, Colorado Springs is pretty freaking cool. There's definitely worse places to go in the country. I'm not going to say it's the most beautiful place in the country, but it's up there, especially if you're not around mountains all the time. Like, their mountains are bigger than our mountains. I'm not saying there ain't, but they're mountains. Like, I live in mountains, so I understand mountains. But if you don't live in mountains, it's worth the trip. If you do live around mountains, theirs are pretty impressive. And from my experience, I've been there now 3 or 4 times, trying to think. No more than that, maybe 5. I've been there a few times now. Colorado Springs is a pretty cool town. From my experience of hanging out in shops and restaurants and stuff, pretty nice town. So looks cool. People are cool. If you want to vacation in a place, you can do a lot worse than Colorado Springs and check out that awesome machine gun shoot. But you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. We talked about Paris in 2024. Well, they're also going to have the Paralympic Games there. So Parasport is the Paralympic shooting organization, international sport for differently abled folks of all kinds of ways. So looks like they're going to have a long-awaited premiere of Join Us for an Unforgettable Cinematic Experience. So I have no idea what this is talking about. I think what this is doing is trying to make it look like it's a movie. I think it's a parody, so I get it. I think it's just a parody of a movie poster trying to let you know that it's coming a year from now. So the shooting sports are not funded by some government thing, and if they were, would Biden be throwing his ice cream money at them? Probably not, right? So you don't have to support the shooting sports, but if you're going to support shooting sports, like USA Shooting, 4-H, para shooting, para sport shooting, those are all nonprofits. They all can use money. They all use it for coaching and for providing shelter and room board for the shooters, especially when they're traveling, but mainly so that the shooters can train, right? Do we want our international shooters to have trained well or to have struggled? I mean, you get hardened from struggling, but if we want them to succeed, like Arab, what's it called? The Emirates or whatever. I wonder what they're spending for their shooters, Just saying. Success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. That's a quote from William Churchill. And it reminds me that it's a girl and a gun. So now I can quit trying to remember what it was from earlier. But I think their marketing is pretty decent too. Last couple of months / years with the rebranding and everything. So success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. I often talk about the cycles. We're going through some cycles. We've just gone through some cycles. People are experiencing some cycles. When did you start on YouTube? Think about it. When did you start on YouTube? If you're watching this, you probably watch other live stuff. If you're listening to this, you probably listen to other stuff that's recorded live. When you started listening, what shows were on? Are they still on? See what I'm saying? Things change subtly, incrementally, bit by bit, and then things are different. You blink and time has passed. You take another inventory of the schedule of the week, and things are not there that used to be there. New things taking their place. New things are on top of other things. Like there's choices now that were never there before. Everything changes. So success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. You don't get to choose failures or successes always. You can set yourself up for both, but there's a certain bit of chance or fate or luck or whatever in there. And being able to go from one to one is what it's all about. And hopefully we're fostering that. We're encouraging that. We're looking for that. We're offering you to think about that for your Second Amendment stuff. It's not all wins, but it certainly ain't all losses. And you ain't here by yourself. All right, the next one is from the Wildcats again, our University of Arizona shooting team. So there's the University of Arizona, we're the nerd school, and then there's the ASU. That's the Arizona State University, and that's the party school. So we're down here being nerds, and this is the shooting team from the nerd school. A few pictures of what firearms education looks like. No fear-mongering, just sharing with the public gun safety and education. Thanks to all our great program supporters and team sponsors. Their sponsors or supporters are Midway USA. So as much as people give crap to Midway, Pima Shooting Sports, that's the range, the county. Ruger, Scholastic Action Shooting Program, so my SASP. Scholastic Shooting Sports, Shoot SASP. The NSSF, the National Shooting Sports Foundation. Tipman Arms, at Tipman Arms, and then True Blue Gun Lube, and then of course the University of Arizona. And they're cool because they put every second it matters and stuff. I imagine if I posted more of their stuff, they'd start putting me in there again too. But that's Philip, longtime CCW instructor here in Tucson. I've got a video somewhere of one of his CCW classes from like probably 2007 or something like that. And then you can see a little bit more behind the scenes or like, over the shoulder or whatever of how the event went down. And you also get to see the range that is one of the county ranges. We have three county ranges in Arizona, in Tucson. Here's NRA doing some kind of weird picture of Biden. Nobody needs an AR-15, period. I mean, I guess it's okay. Americans vehemently disagree with Joe on this. Millions of law-abiding citizens own and use the AR-15 to defend themselves and their families. I think as far as NRA stuff goes, I like this. As far as just anti-gun stuff goes, or, anti-gun stuff or whatever, I dig this. It's NRA. It's not weird. I mean, it's weird, I guess, but it's not, it's obvious. We're making fun of Joe's looking down on gun owners, his attempt to, marginalize. So I dig that. And it's not necessarily great, but it's just not so many other lame things that they often do, that all the national level groups often do, that I like it by default, I guess. Then we got GOAL, Gun Owners Action League. Looks like, how many people can we figure out are in here? I don't know who this guy is, but I'm guessing he's from Tavor because he was handing Charlie a gun in one picture, or maybe he's from GOAL. And then that's Amanda, and then that is Connecticut, president of Connecticut Citizens Defense League, and that's Carrie Ann. That's Gun Food, Riding Shotgun, Guns and Gadgets, Rapid Fire Radio, GOAL, and some guy. So got a bunch of people that everybody knows, and this is a post by Cape Gunworks. Those must have been the speakers at it. And then you've got this one posted by GOAL, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ladies from the DC project, pretty much all holding ARs with no magazines and a couple of AKs with no magazines. And then she's holding, I don't know, some kind of pistol. But I don't get it. I mean, we know what they are, but I don't know. Anyway, it says real moms are their children's first line of defense. Stop HD 4420. I figure they're putting guns in their hands, so they're getting the point across. but why not put magazines in them? The antis don't know that they're technically safer without them. There can't be no dumb law in Massachusetts that they can't have mags for a picture. So they just look so wrong to us. Like, put mags in there. Like, that's all I'm saying. Is put mags in your freaking pictures when you're taking freaking pictures. It's like not having them closed either. Like, go ahead and close them. Like, they look cooler when you put them together. You don't have to have them disassembled for a picture. The overwhelming number of firearms of all kinds are in the hands of law-abiding persons. And I like this one a lot. So this picture is interesting. We can get into this picture sometime. I wonder how new it is or how old it is. Can you tell by the optics, and can you tell by the bags people are carrying? First thing I saw when I saw this picture is like, what year was this? Because I think I know. And then two, where was Steven and what range is this? I can't tell from looking at it what range it is, but there's enough stuff in here that it can be determined what range this is, if it doesn't say in here. But anyway, the picture's interesting by itself. It's a bunch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, 8 people in a line, 7 people in a line with RSO, and they're doing some kind of movement drill, shooting at targets, shooting at paper targets. Some of them are shooting at paper targets. Maybe they all are. But probably just manipulations, maybe mag changes or some kind of sight alignment, something, I don't know. But they're doing some kind of walking with a carbine type of drill, and the instructor's like watching them do the thing. And it's just a still, but it says the overwhelming number of firearms are of all kinds are in the hands of law-abiding persons. And it's an interesting picture for that, because it would have been a different picture to have grandpa showing the lever action to a kid or something. So over on the side, Stephen says, a gun prohibitionist lobby, Brady Center to Prevent Gun Violence, asserts that assault weapons are only in common use by criminals and, in fact, are preferred by criminals over law-abiding citizens 8-1. But every AR-15 and every other firearm manufactured is first sold through a federally licensed firearm dealer to a person who passes the NICS check, and that gun purchasers are approved by NICS belies the defamatory claim that these are mostly criminals. And it says, while criminals are capable of obtaining firearms by theft and through the black market, that does not negate that the overwhelming number of firearms of all kinds are in the hands of law-abiding persons. The misuse of firearms by criminals does not nullify the Constitution. So, definitely good perspective and a nice point of view, but wordy, verbose way of getting it across, right? Eric is out there. Good afternoon. Let's see. Mike is saying we have the Sierra, Southern California. We're used to mountains. You guys got a lot of mountains in California. Just depends on where. You got a lot of mountains in, like, all, that's what I'm saying. Not only do you have a lot of mountains, but you have multiple places with a lot of mountains. All right, next up is American Suppressor Association again. It says cans, not bans. And then it has the decibel levels and the logarithmic scale. So I guess it's trying to show you that decibels are almost a what's the word? Almost a no, I can't think of the word. Anyway, it says facts are facts, and an undeniable fact is that we love using a suppressor. And an undeniable fact that we love is that using a suppressor is a way to know that you have 24/7 hearing protection. I guess I was just trying to say logarithmic, but essentially there's a curve, and if you look at the decibel levels, like they're not just a straight line; they go at a curve. So the higher the decibels, the sound increases by a lot, not just a little bit. So I don't know actually what the heck this thing is supposed to be saying, but it's cans, not bands out there, I guess. I did break my eardrums open last week, so FYI, be good with your eardrums unless you want to bust it open. A 12-year-old Colorado student kicked out of class over the flag on his backpack. Everybody else is talking about it. I could care less. But Mil-Spec Monkey is one of the OGs for filming at SHOT Show, and definitely morale patches. So anyway, I just thought that's cool that he's posting a post about it. He doesn't post too often. This is gun policy. So instead of just showing us right up their eyeballs and up their noses, they scribbled all over it. So is that better? I don't know. It looks creepy. So it says Governor Bill Lee's special red flag session has adjourned with no gun control passed. And then you have to read over here that means in Tennessee, because we don't all know who this guy is the governor of. But that's good to hear. That was the first I heard of it. We'll keep going because I don't really like these creepy posts. But again, we only have three federal level people on our side. So, we get what we get. And we don't get posts from two of them very often. So the next one is the DC Project. If you aren't subscribed to DC Project newsletter yet, you're missing out. We just sent on an update on the extremely successful and impactful presence of the DC Project on the day one of the Tennessee special session. And then over here it says, where does it say? Over here. Actually, unapologetically armed. Is she out here right now? No. But was she out here and I'm missing it? Sometimes she's out here. She posted special session ends with no gun control. So that's where I first seen that Tennessee won. So whenever they try to special session, that means they know that it's not going to pass a vote. So they want to shove it through, through media, flooded, emotional ties to some issue of the day, and let's just push it through in an unceremonious, let's get this done, we'll do something type of thing, knowing that it's difficult to untie that knot once they've tied it. So this was great to see that Tennessee was able to defend against that urge and that pander. Let's see. But Artak is saying it had no path to pass anyway. Okay, so that's good to hear. But at least the ladies were there to offer their perspective on it and to gain experience. Because half of it is them gaining experience and getting better at what they do and letting the antis know that they don't just get free reign. They can't just do stuff, that they are going to be challenged by groups like the DC Project and more. So now I'm going to go back and we're going to listen to the American Suppressor Association again.
Hey everyone, my name is Knox with the American Suppressor Association, and I want to take a moment to thank you for supporting our cause. As a nonprofit, our job is to fight for your rights, and we could not do it without your support. Your membership and your donations fund our fights in Washington, D.C. and in state capitals across the country. I promise that the American Suppressor Association will not stop fighting until suppressors are removed from the National Firearms Act and are legal to own in all 50 states. Help us protect your right to protect your hearing by making sure your membership in the American Suppressor Association is active. Visit us at asamember.com to join or renew today.
So I highly encourage you to do so. None of these organizations are free. Like, they can't just do stuff for nothing. They're not owned or run by people that just have all the money to spend on it. So this is one that I can definitely recommend putting some effort into or putting some resources into. The other ones are on their own. They get plenty of support, and what they're getting, what we're getting for that support, we could have a conversation about. With this one, it's a plus. Like, we're getting so much more from the American Suppressor Association than the support they're getting. But with that being said, do what you want. You can also support individual creators out there. Plenty of people out here have a Patreon for their projects, and subscribing not only helps with the financial side, but for the morale side. The person's ambition to continue their project is factor. The participation is a factor there. So wanted to let this one run because it's a plea from the American Suppressor Association to let people know that they don't just have angel donors that make it possible financially. But instead, we are capitalists, and some of this stuff, if we don't expect someone to do it for us, we need to be part of the doing, part of the creation of these things.
All right, so what we're
Okay, so this one, I'll let it play, and then we'll have a discussion on whether or not this was the right thing to do.
doing today is we're working on the 1971 Adam 12 car. The fuel tank has been running so long. There's so much buildup in the tank that we decided to go ahead and replace it rather than take it out and have it coated. You can buy these things for less than $200, and let's see what happens. This is Russ. I'm out.
And then he proceeds to put in a $200 gas can, maybe aftermarket. Can it even be AC Dalco anymore? Or whatever that would be, Mopar. For the 1971 car from Adam 12, the TV show. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like they could be forking out to have the tank cleaned and recoated. I mean, how much could that possibly cost to keep a museum police car in good shape? So, I'm not necessarily a fan of that choice. But on the other hand, it's just a police car, I guess. There's like 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There might be 10 or 12 police cars back there, and a helicopter, and some other kind of vehicles. So Maj was, with the official Black Guns Matter, was already in wherever that Jacksonville thing happened. So he went over there, and he went to the Dollar General where it happened. Posted about it and offered some, like what he does, his free classes.
Moves forward, and this is a patch dispenser. It just chambers another round. Okay? So when you are gripping the gun properly, I go, here, boom, the gun goes slide back, rack another round. Boom. That's why it's called a semi-automatic. Half of the work is done for you. If it was fully automatic, I would just hold that trigger down and the bullets would keep going until I let go of the trigger.
So basic stuff, free, and for people that essentially walk up and listen and be able to do that because he's comfortable and practice to do it at a I don't know if you want to say appropriate, at an opportune time, right after an event like that spree killing that happened in Florida. So being able to jump on that, pretty interesting. And if this is a discussion type of conversation show, that might be an interesting topic for discussion. I don't know how many people are paying attention to what Maj is doing over there. Normally in Pennsylvania, but in this case down in Florida. Like I say, I don't know how many other people are out there doing stuff, right or wrong, this way or that way. He's there. He's doing it. And everything he's done till now has gotten him to a place where he's able to do it and comfortable to do it, and has the whatever the word is to go do it. A lot of people could do it and didn't do it, right? This is NSSF again, and this says FMG Publications and American Cop, which are two magazines, I guess, partner with NSSF for SHOT Show's law enforcement education program. And then with law enforcement budgets being cut across the country, we understand the importance of supporting agencies and embedded officers however we can, said the guy from FMG Publications. We're extremely proud to sponsor with NSSF and help deliver much-needed training resources through the LEEP program during SHOT. Law enforcement education, something maybe? So, I don't know. That's what NSSF is about, a liaison between government and industry. So is the police the industry? Is the police the appropriate place for SHOT Show and NSSF? Should police have their own thing? Questions. What do you think? There's Roy out there. Good afternoon. Exponential. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for before, not logarithmic. Thank you. Next up is, remember San Diego County gun owners? Well, they, besides doing the gun prom, they also do these tabletops, they call them. So this is their really girly looking, brochure looking thing, infographic, I guess. It says, join our 2A community, become an activist today, activists needed for tabletop. So, whatever, San Francisco or in San Diego, this might be hip and trendy, but to me it looks like a wedding invitation or something. But it says, we're looking for activists for our tabletop at the gun range, be part of the 2A community and educate people on how we can protect our Second Amendment. So this is September 9th. It's still coming up. And at the gun range, San Diego. So they sometimes do them at like stores, and then sometimes do them at places like this, like a range. So, and then they sometimes do them at other events too. But everything is cool about this, except for maybe this artwork on the brochure. But the idea that the county level organization cares enough to initiate this and provide them, get them going so that there's something for somebody to refer to when they do theirs. And then they encourage folks to be part of it. And they have resources, education. You get concerned people who have an interest in getting the message out there. You get them out at places where other folks are. And there's opportunities for people at spur of the moment or planned, right? When you go to an event and you see the San Diego County gun owners have a pop-up there, and you know that you can go over and stand in the shade, you can talk to them, and they're going to be able to bounce ideas off you, or vice versa. You're going to be able to pick up some brochures and maybe get a contact info, maybe get, arrange something that you need to confer with or get some more information about. But they're there. And that means in the future, if you're planning something, getting something ready to go, you now have San Diego County gun owners as a resource. And you know that if at the next thing, you can go and they'll be there. And now you can have that, follow-up conversation or whatever. Plus, again, all these people that are just minding their business, showing up to an event, hey, let's do something different this weekend. Oh, let's try what a gun show is. Let's see how horrible a gun show is. And then they show up, and then they, have this opportunity to talk to people who are ambassadors. So it's everything about this is awesome. Plus, it's given the people who man the table, right? The people who occupy the table, the opportunity to meet all these other people. And I'm sure most of them are going to be on their side, but that don't mean nothing. You can have people on your side. This happens to me all the time. Somebody's on your side. They're a gun owner. They're a pro 2A. Okay, that's fine. So, but then you start talking to them, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? They shoot 9mm. Now you got to talk them out of that. Hey, look, it's your right. It's legal. But there's so many decent calibers you could choose from. So you gently talk them out of their crazy decision, their reckless decision to shoot the 9mm. So that kind of stuff is going to happen to you. Maybe they have some crazy ideas about shotguns, or they something weird about the way they carry the revolver. So, you have these conversations as an advocate with all these different people, and you become a better advocate. You become better at having those conversations. You also start to learn with experience when to waste your time on things and when to not, when to move on. Let's see. Mike is saying San Diego has gotten really big. They have come out of nowhere, and I just started hearing about them a year or so ago. Yeah, I'd say for me it might be 2 years, but definitely coming out of nowhere award. If they don't win awards at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, it's a scam. It's a ripoff, because they are some of the most innovative, consistent, and strongest group, and like across realm. Like they're doing stuff on the radio, they're doing these pop-ups, they're doing the prom, and more. Like this isn't even all they're doing. And they're doing web design, for crying out loud. So yeah, they're an amazing organization. Definitely should be franchised, championed, except for this artwork. I'm not going to keep saying this artwork is a wedding invitation, but it looks like a wedding invitation for like a dog wedding or something, like a frivolous joke wedding invitation maybe. Anyway, so then on the other side of the continent, we have Riding Shotgun with Charlie, hoarding free guns. I'm just saying, he's even bragging about it here. So evidently, he happened to win a Kel-Tec back in 2017 at a rally. And then he happened to win a Ruger at a rally in D.C. in 2018. 2019, he happened to win a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun in Connecticut, because that's all you can own in Connecticut, I think. And then in 2023, he just won this Tavor. So, we're just saying, must be nice. And then he talks about if you want to be a goal member, which anybody can be, great time to be one. Massachusetts needs all the financial and membership support they can get. If you want to be a member of the Gun Owners Action League, it's $30 a year. So that's a little less than $3 a month. That's approximately what it costs to buy 200 rounds of 9mm. So for the cost of 200 rounds of 9mm, you could be a member of the Gun Owners Action League. It's been a while since I bought 9mm, but I'm pretty sure that's the actual price right now. So let's see. This is Gabby, who was a guest on on Cape Gunworks show last week. But she has a post that says, share all the 2A content you can to fight shadow banning. I'll talk about this later today. Use the hashtag BeatSB. We are stronger together. So evidently, Gabby has been aware of, or the target of, the shadow banning. So she's attempting to raise some awareness and challenge that with the hashtag BeatSB. She says, this is all psychological warfare to modify behavior using punishment. I'll talk more about it later today. In the meantime, share all the 2A content you can. Not just like it or smile at it and move on. Share it. They are slowly eliminating it, but together we can fight back and we will win. And, there's not too many people that are like Gabby who have seen changes in society at the level she has coming from Venezuela. So, great idea. And yeah, if you're inclined, start using the hashtag BeatSB, BeatSB, like shadow ban. Got Unapologetically Armed joining us from the state of Missouri, and John Z, who used to be from the state of Missouri. Thanks for joining. And we were just talking about the Bannerman Castle a little bit earlier in the show. John and I both went to the Bannerman Castle together back in 18, I think. Can't wait to be able to go back there again. So here we got Gun Policy, FPC, showing this shitty-ass Planet of the Apes thing again with a bunch of moss on it. Massachusetts, the legislative summer recess is ending. Stop anti-rights. Omnibus HD 4420. Take action now. I see. The recess is ending. Oh, I didn't realize it was only on recess for such a short time. So if it's already getting time to fight in Massachusetts, it seems like they should have had more than one rally, huh? I thought they had till the end of the year. Anyway, it says Massachusetts, some of the disarmament regime's worst will be reconvening in a few short days. You slowed them down earlier this summer, more like 2 weeks ago, and now it's time to officially end their disarmament fantasies. Man, I'd like to see these kind of fights get a more unified resistance. We'd be better if we learned how to fight stronger and more unified. But you know what? We're either going to figure that out or we ain't, right? Let's see. John Z is saying, you coming back? Wish I could go with only one good leg. We'll figure something out, dude. But eventually, I'm working at it. Right now, I'm not making any money with the 2A stuff, so to speak. Paying the bills with the 2A stuff. The bills are for the 2A are getting paid by the 2A. But working on the other garbage to get some cash. Once that cash has paid off old debt, then yeah, I can't wait to get back on the road. And the Bannerman Castle will be one of the first things I want to hit because it's got a time span, it is falling apart. So this is just for shits and giggles because it's birds. These are the national bird of Canada, living their lives. So here's a little moment without the music of bird family in Canada, probably. So mommy's hanging out and little baby's on her back, and then daddy comes along and gives them a little piece of fish, and then the baby comes off and now he's swimming along, and Daddy's going to try to teach him how to eat that piece of fish. Well, it's actually a whole minnow or something. So don't forget that, we're all just critters, and you could go outside and look at this kind of stuff happening right now, except probably not with loons because they're up in Canada. This is Coleon, and you might have heard this already. I'll play it anyway.
He possessed these guns legally. We know what he did with them. What could have been done? What should have been done?
Well, we have to stop people that have bad intentions. Guns, the story is always about guns. People are bad. This guy's a bad guy. If I could take my gun off right now and lay it on this counter, nothing will happen. It'll sit there. But as soon as a wicked person grabs a hold of that handgun and starts shooting people with it, there's the problem. The problem is the individual. Now, guns are a tool that people use to do horrible things. But it's the individuals that wield these things. So we are working hard to try to stop that. But in this situation, in this case, there was nothing illegal about him owning the firearm.
When somebody uses the same type of gun to save a bunch of people's lives, you don't attribute the same ability to the gun. You don't treat it like a human. You treat it like a gun. You say, oh, that person saved all of those lives. And you just conveniently forget to mention the firearm.
So you really can't lead with that, but that's sort of the real point here. So, the sheriff saying what the opinion that a lot of us have, that, what he just said. But Coleon's summary there, that when the police use guns to successfully solve bad times, we say the police solved this. When a bad person does something horrible with a gun, we say the gun, right? Or they say the gun, right? We don't say shit like that. But anyway, I think Coleon brings up a good point here. And whether or not you agree with him, go get more, clicks than he has. Go get more responses. I usually do the little rundown on how you can interact with Instagram. I'll do that here in a second. Before, I wanted to mention we got about 8 minutes before Cape Gunworks starts up their rapid fire radio show. So we'll be ending ideally right before that. So let's go ahead and say 9th. Thumb up. Put a message in there, make the robot spell it right, and then push that over to the side. So we'll be ending before the show starts up over there. But I thought this one was worth listening to, but mainly just as much to hear it, but you may have already heard it, or it's just the same old. But mainly for what Coleon addressed there at the end, that there is this disregard. It's an intentional marginalization of the gun and gun owners to disregard the gun whenever it's positive, and to put the gun on us every time a bad person uses a gun, or every time an accident happens or something. Oh, well, that was the last one, so we'll definitely be done. So we have a poll going. Let's go look at the poll. See, it looks like 100% of everybody that voted said that YouTube videos is what they'd prefer on the long road trip or the long bus ride. So next, and how come when you say long bus ride, nobody assumes that you're going to drive that bus onto a railroad car and then make it into a train ride? I'm just saying, why don't they do that? But of all the stuff that we looked at today, and I'll go back and scroll through it, the first 4, since we have a couple of minutes here, the first 4 people to mention one of the posts that we looked at, those 4 posts will go into a poll, and everybody will be able to vote on the best post today. So if you can shout out in the comments right now your suggestions for the best post today, your favorite post today, and then those would go into the poll, and then we'll have a quick vote to see which was the best one. So just as a summary, we didn't really talk about this one, but here are a bunch of dogs. Dang it, I copyrighted again. That's from last week, but anyway. So we had the DC project. We had Philip from NAGA talking about training and that kind of thing. We had the bull, that, what was it, a Brahma Longhorn from back in the olden days. Locked and Loaded and Boomstick. We had Diana juxtaposed with Kamala. What's her face? The new one from Gun Owners America, Tiffany. I'll eventually remember her name. We got Crump being called out. You got Shooterina. You got who's going to Olympics for shotgun, and then you got Ginny going to the Olympics for small bore rifle. Then you got Dragon Man's machine gun shoot being talked about by Rocky Mountain gun owners. You got the prize from San Diego gun owners being the art from somebody who draws guns. You got Foss's berries. We got one DC Project vote at this point from Mike White. We got Biden eating ice cream while Hawaii burns. We got NRA fighting with Kamala. We got the free chairs. We got Fort AP Hill being renamed to Fort Walker. We got National Dog Day. Got the gun prom. We got the Wildgats, shooting their first shots, orientation shoots over at the county range. We got the guy with the samurai sword running out and fighting the guys with stealing the bikes, the bike gang. It's biker gang. So it's a guy with a sword chasing a biker gang. You got governments do not grant rights, nor do they protect them. And at this point, we don't have anywhere near enough time. We only have one suggestion, and John Z is saying yeah to something, but I don't know because I just scrolled by these things way too fast. So maybe if we get our S together for next week, we'll have some kind of vote on the most awesome post of the week. I think there was a bunch of good ones this week. There was only a couple of them that I put in here to rag on them. But there wasn't that much rag-worthy stuff, in my opinion. It was a pretty good week worth of stuff. On Fridays, we'll take a look at something like this, except everything. YouTube, emails, newsletters, and all this. So we'll wrap this one up. I think we'll recommend again that if you're interested, if you're still listening to stuff, one of the better shows you're going to listen to each week is the Rapid Fire Radio Show. Toby from Cape Gunworks has been doing the show now for quite a few years, I think, and in different formats. But he's super comfortable with the live stream and with the comments that come in, and he's capable to have conversations about the guns or the range or shooting or training or hunting, collecting, lots of different elements of just being a gun owner. But then because they're in Massachusetts and dealing with everything with the HR 4420 and everything they've dealt with before that, capable and competent to talk about rights and challenges and activism and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be coming up here in moments. We'll be ending this just in time for you to check that out. Actually, they probably run like 15 minutes, 15 minutes early, just kind of getting everything ready. So you probably have time to go get something to drink or take a little puppy. And remember, if you missed National Dog Day, you are able to legally go grab a little puppy and give it a wiggle, squeeze, a hug, or a kiss or something. And that will officially fill your obligation for National Puppy Day, even though you missed it on National Puppy Day. However, because it's 4 days after National Puppy Day, you will need to do that 4 times to be in compliance. Otherwise, next year, you're going to owe so many dog squeezes and hugs that your arms are going to get super tired. And your dog might be skinnier. And you don't want, if you got a big fat dog and you give it too many squeezes, now you got a little skinny greyhound, and then you don't recognize it. So let's not have that happen. Let's see. Unapologetically was also voting for DC Project. Let's just make DC Project the winner. Let's just say that DC Project won. Let's see. And we'll ignore the weird political ranting over here. And John Z is saying that he would ride the train bus. What if we got you on a bus that takes you to the train, and then that train the bus drives off the train onto a boat, and then that boat drives over to the island, and then the bus drives off the boat onto the island, and then you get off of the bus on the island. Essentially, all you had to do is get on the bus where you're at, and then get off the bus on the island. It's just that the bus will have taken a train and a boat to get there. And if we can arrange it, we'll have a truck take the bus from the train to the boat, just so that we add another layer of complexity to it and scheduling, because it's New York, and I know you like stuff like that in New York. A lot of extra requirements and costs and whatnot. So with that, we'll throw a commercial out here for our store. If you'd like to grab stuff from our store, we appreciate it, because it helps us stay in business. If you're one of the people that like to subscribe to what we're doing, watch us grow. We're about to start doing new stuff again. It's been a while since we've been able to do that, but we're going to be growing again. So if you want to jump on with that, head over to Patreon. It's essentially our blog, but it's also the people that subscribe to what we do. Most people are buying us a cup of coffee each month, essentially $5 a month. Some people are buying us lunch, making it more like $20 a month. And altogether that accumulates, and it pays for the servers, it pays for the software, and gives me time to spend on this stuff. So we really do appreciate the Patreons that made it possible to get us to where we're at, and they keep us going. And if you'd like to jump on board and watch us grow, then check it out. Otherwise, we also have a store where we sell stuff. And that's what this commercial will be all about. GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com. The puppy has already learned that whenever that commercial plays, he should be running over here because he thinks he's going to get some kind of a treat or something. But he doesn't get one because nobody super chatted today. No treats going out over there. But with that, yeah, we're wrapping this one up. And I don't know if Patriot's out there or not, but Patriot's been posting a bunch of good stuff. So we'll end it with the Ninja.
Cheat. Ninja? Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with